The alarm blared throughout the space station. Susan grabbed her emergency pack and ran to her assigned position. The station rocked as another impact hit the outer hull. Lights flickered and warning signals flashed on every screen. Status report. She called to her team Maya. Her second-in-command checked the computer. 3 alien vessels approaching from Sector 7. They're not responding to hails. Defensive shields, holding at 60% capacity but weakening with each hit. Susan looked at the monitor. The attacking ships were unlike anything she had seen before. They moved with impossible speed, changing direction in ways that defied physics. Their hulls were dark purple, almost black, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Are the evacuation pods ready? She asked. Tyler nodded from his station. Ready, but there's a problem. The alien ships are positioned to intercept. Anyone trying to leave would be shot down immediately. Susan took a deep breath. This was her first command. Mission 50 crew members depended on her decisions. 3 months ago, she had been an engineer on Earth's orbital platform. Now she was responsible for Outpost Delta, the farthest human installation from Earth. The outpost shuddered again. Captain, we can't take much more of this, Maya warned. Shield capacity at 43%. Susan activated the station-wide communication system. All personnel prepare for emergency protocols. This is not a drill, I repeat. This is not a drill. She turned to Tyler. Send a distress signal to Earth Command maximum encryption. Already done. But help would take at least 12 hours to reach us. Susan knew they didn't have 12 hours. She studied the tactical display, looking for any advantage. Something about the alien attack pattern caught her attention. They're not trying to destroy us, she said suddenly. Look at the impact points, all external communications arrays and sensor equipment. None of the shots have targeted life support or the station. Core, Maya looked up. You're right, they want to blind us, not kill us. But why? The answer came sooner than expected. A new alert sounded. Captain, something's happening. Tyler called. There's an energy surge near the main airlock. Something's trying to cut through. They're boarding us, Susan realized. All security teams to the main airlock now. Susan grabbed her sidearm and headed toward the airlock with Maya and 4 security officers. The corridor lights pulsed red, bathing everything in crimson. The station's artificial gravity fluctuated, making each step uncertain. They reached the security checkpoint outside the airlock zone. The metal door was glowing red-hot at the edges. A perfect circle was being carved through the reinforced steel. Take positions, Susan ordered. Her team ducked behind barricades, weapons ready. With a loud hiss, the circle of metal fell inward, clanging against the floor. Smoke filled the opening. Then tall figures stepped through. Susan had expected monsters. Instead, these aliens looked almost human except for their height and unusual coloring. Their skin was pale blue, their eyes large and completely black without visible pupils or whites. They wore close-fitting suits that seemed to shift color, adapting to their surroundings. One alien stepped forward. It was taller than the others, its head hairless and elongated, its 4-fingered hands empty, showing no weapons. It spoke. Its voice was melodic with strange harmonics underlying each word. We come with purpose. Do not resist. Susan kept her weapon raised. You attacked our station without provocation. We disabled your communications only. We meant no harm to living beings. What do you want? The alien gestured and another stepped forward. This one carried a small container. We seek the one you call Susan Connor, leader of this outpost. Susan tensed. That's me. The alien studied her. You are younger than expected. Your species assigns command based on unusual criteria. What do you want with me? You have something that belongs to us. Something stolen. Susan frowned. We've stolen nothing from you. We didn't even know your species existed until today. The alien holding the container stepped closer, its black eyes unblinking. 3 of your Earth rotations ago, a human ship encountered one of our research vessels near your Jupiter. They took something precious. Susan remembered the report. A scientific expedition returning from Jupiter's moons had reported an unidentified object. But they hadn't mentioned contact with aliens. What was taken? A life. A child. One of our young was studying your solar system. The human ship captured it. Susan's stomach dropped. A child. We would never deliberately take a child of any species. There must be a mistake. There is no mistake. Your scientists would not recognize our young. They do not resemble adults. They exist in transitional state, formless energy and matter combined. Your people would see only a strange phenomenon, something to study. The realization hit Susan. The energy anomaly. They reported finding an unusual energy pattern near Europa. They brought back samples for analysis. The alien leader nodded. That sample is our child, now dying in your laboratories. We have tracked it here. It's not here, Susan said. Samples from that mission would go to the research facility on Mars, not to this outpost. The aliens conferred among themselves in their musical language. Then the leader turned back to Susan. Our sensors detected the energy signature here in this station. The child calls to us. Its life force grows weak. We must find it. Susan lowered her weapon slightly. I give you my word, I know nothing about this. But I'll help you search. If your child is here, we'll find. If the leader considered her offer, you may assist. Time is short. Susan turned to Maya. Stand down. Security teams hold positions but lower weapons. She addressed the alien leader. Where do we start? Your research laboratories. Susan nodded and led the way, keeping a careful eye on their visitors. The station had a small research section where samples from nearby planets were analyzed. As they walked, the station's systems began to stabilize. The alien ships had stopped their attack in the main laboratory. Susan accessed the computer display all recent sample acquisitions from Earth ships. The screen showed a list of mundane items, rock samples, atmospheric readings from nearby planets. Nothing unusual. The alien leader moved to a sealed container in the corner. Here, the signature comes from here. Susan checked the label. This came from the Jupiter mission, but it's just an ice sample from Europa. Open it. Susan hesitated, then entered the security code. The container hissed as it unsealed. Inside was what appeared to be a chunk of ice glowing with faint blue light. That's it, the alien said urgently. Our child trapped in frozen state. The alien with the container stepped forward, opening it to reveal a swirling liquid that glowed with the same blue light. It poured the liquid over the ice sample. The ice began to melt rapidly. The blue glow intensified, spreading through the liquid. Tendrils of light reached up, forming patterns that reminded Susan of neural networks. The aliens began to sing a haunting melody that made Susan's skin tingle. The blue light pulsed in rhythm with their song. Slowly, a shape formed in the swirling light. A translucent being, neither solid nor liquid. Its form constantly shifting, yet maintaining a vaguely humanoid shape. The child lives, the alien leader said, but is weak. We must return it to our vessel immediately. Susan nodded. I'll escort you back. As they made their way to the airlock, Susan radioed ahead to ensure no one interfered. The alien carrying the container moved carefully, the blue being inside, pulsing weakly. At the airlock, the alien leader turned to Susan. You have assisted, despite our aggression. Why? It was a child. Susan said simply, no child should suffer for adults' mistakes. Your species is known to be violent, territorial. We can be, but we can also be compassionate. The aliens seemed to consider this. Perhaps there is more to learn about humans. Our information may be incomplete. Next time, Susan suggested, try talking first before shooting. A reasonable suggestion. The alien made a gesture that might have been a bow. We will withdraw our vessels. Your station will be repaired as compensation. Repaired. How? Instead of answering, the alien leader joined the others at the airlock. The last Susan saw was the container with its precious cargo being carefully carried through. Once the aliens had departed, Susan returned to the bridge. The damage reports were coming in. But strangely, each damaged system was repairing itself. Metal reforming circuits reconnecting. "Captain," Maya called. "You need to see this." On the main screen, the alien ships were still visible, but now tendrils of energy extended from them, wrapping around the station. Wherever they touched, damaged sections began to heal. "They're fixing what they broke," Tyler said in awe. Susan watched as the alien ships completed their work, then accelerated away, vanishing into deep space within seconds. "Send a full report." "To Earth Command," she ordered, "and add a personal note. We need to be more careful with our samples, more respectful of what we don't understand. The universe just got a lot more complicated." Later that night, Susan sat alone in her quarters looking at the stars through her window. She could see the spot where the alien ships had disappeared. She wondered about the child they had rescued. Was it recovering? Would it remember its time trapped in human hands? The station's computer chimed. "Captain, incoming transmission from Earth Command Priority 1. Susan accepted the call. A stern-faced admiral appeared on screen. "Commander Connor, we received your report. Is your crew safe?" "Yes, Admiral. No casualties. The aliens repaired all damage before departing, and you're certain they were retrieving what they considered to be a child?" "Yes, sir. Their behavior was consistent with a rescue mission, not an invasion." The diplomatic reception hall gleamed with polished marble and crystal chandeliers, Earth's finest venue for welcoming the alien delegation. Nicole adjusted her uniform nervously. As lead xenolinguist for the United Earth government, she would be the first to attempt real-time communication with the Araxian representatives. Her translator device, a sleek silver band around her wrist, contained the most advanced technology humans had ever created. It had taken 5 years to develop after first contact. Countless hours analyzing the mathematical patterns in Araxian communication signals had led to this moment. 2 minutes until they arrive. Her assistant whispered, "Are you ready?" Nicole nodded, though her mouth felt dry. The fate of human Araxian relations might depend on her ability to translate correctly. No pressure. The massive doors at the end of the hall opened. Government officials straightened their postures and fixed diplomatic smiles on their faces. Nicole moved to her position beside the Secretary General. The Araxians entered. Nicole had seen images before, but nothing prepared her for seeing them in person. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, with bodies that seemed almost crystalline. Their skin, if you could call it that, shimmered, with colors that shifted constantly. They moved with fluid grace despite having 6 limbs. Their heads were elongated with no visible eyes, but with patterns of light that pulsed across their surface. 3 Araxians approached the human delegation. The one in front, slightly taller than the others, stopped before the Secretary General. It made a series of musical tones combined with flashes of light from its body. Nicole's translator processed the input. She spoke clearly. "The Supreme Coordinator of the Araxian Collective greets Earth's representatives and expresses hope for mutual understanding between our species." The Secretary General nodded. "Please tell the Supreme Coordinator that Earth welcomes the Araxian delegation with open arms and hearts. We too hope for friendship and cooperation." Nicole translated his words into the musical language of the Araxians. The lead alien's body flashed with blues and greens. The translator processed. "The Supreme Coordinator acknowledges your welcome and proposes we proceed to substantive discussions." The formal introductions continued as Nicole translated between the species. The Araxians spoke in harmonics and light patterns while humans used words and gestures. 2 forms of communication, separated by millions of years of evolution, yet here they were finding common ground. After the initial greetings, the delegations moved to the conference room. A large oval table had been specially designed with elevated sections to accommodate the Araxians' height. The walls displayed star maps and images of both Earth and the Araxian homeworld, Taros. Nicole sat beside the Secretary General, her translator working continuously as negotiations began. Trade agreements, cultural exchanges, scientific cooperation. All the standard diplomatic topics, but with an extraterrestrial twist. During a brief recess, Nicole stepped into the hallway to catch her breath. The Supreme Coordinator followed its body pulsing with curious patterns. Your translation. Device functions adequately. The alien communicated. But imperfectly, Nicole was surprised. You can tell. Certain harmonics are lost. Emotional resonances simplified. The mathematical elegance reduced. I apologize for any misunderstandings. Our technology is still developing. The Araxian's body shifted to a gentle purple hue. No apology needed. Impressive achievement for your species. Age difference significant. Nicole knew the Araxians had been traveling space for thousands of years before humans, had even invented writing. Thank you for your patience with us. Curious question permitted, the alien signaled. Of course, why serve as translator when machines capable? Nicole considered her answer. Machines can process language but may miss cultural context, nuance, intention. Humans understand other thinking beings in ways AI cannot. We recognize patterns of thought, not just patterns of communication. The Araxian's lights pulsed rapidly. Insightful. This matches our observations of your species. Pattern recognition beyond mathematical computation. Unexpected capability. Before Nicole could respond, an aide appeared in the doorway. They're ready to resume. The negotiations continued for hours. Nicole's throat grew sore from constant translation, but she remained focused. This wasn't just about trade routes and scientific cooperation. The future relationship between two intelligent species hung in the balance. Near the end of the day, as they discussed a potential exchange program for scientists, the Supreme Coordinator made a series of tones that caused Nicole's translator to hesitate. Is there a problem? The Secretary General asked, noticing her confusion. The translation is unclear? Nicole admitted. She addressed the Araxian. Could you rephrase your statement? The concept isn't translating well. The alien's body shifted through several color patterns before settling on a deep blue. Your species possesses unusual characteristic, difficult to express in your language, closest approximation. Might be potential divergence, I don't understand. Nicole said. Potential for what? Your evolutionary path, unusual, multiple possible futures, some like us, some unlike anything known, uncertainty factor, highest of any species encountered. The Secretary. General leaned forward. Is this good or bad from your perspective? The Araxian's lights pulsed slowly. Neither simply observation. Your species could become many different things. Path not fixed, as with most intelligent life. Nicole translated carefully, trying to capture the nuance. They're saying humans are unusually unpredictable in our development, that most species have a more deterministic evolutionary path, and this interests them, the Secretary General asked. The Supreme Coordinator's body flashed rapidly. Primary reason for contact, study of divergent potential, rare phenomenon. Nicole felt a chill. You came to Earth to study us, not for trade or cooperation. Both purposes. Valid study. Primary trade beneficial, secondary objective. The human delegation exchanged glances. Nicole could see the shift in the room. Wariness replacing openness. The Secretary General spoke carefully. What exactly do you mean by studying our potential divergence? The Araxian's colors shifted to a calm green. Observation only. No interference. Natural development must precede Araxian ethical principle. Then why make contact at all? One of the human delegates asked. Wouldn't that interfere with our natural development? The aliens' lights pulsed in what Nicole was beginning to recognize as their equivalent of contemplation, contact inevitable. As your technology advanced, detection of our presence, certain controlled introduction preferred to accidental discovery. Nicole translated, then added her own insight. I think they're saying they would have been detected by us eventually, so they decided to approach on their terms. The Secretary General nodded. A fair point. What do you hope to learn from studying us? Prediction models, path likelihood, outcomes, beneficial knowledge for all sentient life. As Nicole translated, she felt the weight of the alien's words. They saw humans as a scientific curiosity, a species whose future couldn't be easily predicted, a question mark in their models of intelligent life. The meeting concluded shortly after with agreements to continue discussions the following day. As the Araxian delegation departed, Nicole found herself alone with the Secretary General. "What do you make of all this?" he asked her. "Your honest assessment," Nicole chose her words carefully. "I think they're telling the truth about their interest in us, but there's more. They seem almost concerned about our potential, almost like they're trying to determine if we're a threat. Threat to a species thousands of years more advanced. Not an immediate threat, but a long-term unknown that seems to unsettle them. And for a species that can apparently predict the evolution of intelligent life with mathematical precision, that must be unusual." The Secretary General looked thoughtful. "Keep this between us for now. I want you to focus specifically on any translations related to this divergent potential they're talking about. Learn everything you can." The next morning, negotiations resumed. The Supreme Coordinator requested a tour of human cultural sites. Nicole accompanied them to museums, art galleries, concert halls. The aliens showed particular interest in human creativity, especially music and mathematics, at the symphony hall. The Araxian stood motionless as an orchestra played Beethoven's Ninth. When it ended, the Supreme Coordinator's body glowed with brilliant colors. "Extraordinary mathematical patterns, yet unpredictable variations reflects your species' nature." The art museum, they spent hours examining everything from Renaissance paintings to modern abstract works. The aliens seemed fascinated by human artistic expression. "Purpose of creating unreal images?" one Araxian asked, studying a surrealist painting art. "Helps us explore possibilities," Nicole explained. "Things that don't exist but could. Things we imagine or fear or hope for. Imagination priority function for humans." "Yes, I suppose it is." The Supreme Coordinator moved closer, its lights pulsing softly. "This explains divergent potential. Imagination creates multiple futures. Your species lives in possibility, not only reality." Nicole suddenly understood. That's what makes us different, isn't it? Most species follow a predictable path because they can only conceive of one future, but humans imagine countless futures. Correct. Most species linear development, logical progression, predictable. Humans branch, create new paths, previously inconceivable outcomes. And that makes us interesting to study. Valuable. Unique understanding human potential helps understand universe potential. Olivia stepped through the airlock into the alien ship. Her breath caught in her throat. The interior was nothing like she had imagined. Gone were the sterile metal corridors of human spacecraft. Instead, she entered what looked like a living forest. Bioluminescent plants grew from the walls and ceiling, casting soft, multicolored light throughout the chamber. The floor felt like moss beneath her feet, yet supported her weight perfectly. The air smelled of something like cinnamon and rain. "Welcome aboard the Nexus," said Vela, her Arconian guide. The alien stood nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent skin that shifted between shades of blue and green. Her eyes were large and completely black. Her 4 arms moved with fluid grace as she gestured around the chamber. "This will be your home for the next Earth year." Olivia nodded, unable to speak. She was the first human ambassador to the Arconian collective. After decades of distant communication, Earth had finally been invited to send a representative. Hundreds of diplomats and politicians had applied. Olivia, a cultural anthropologist with a background in linguistics, had been the surprise choice. "Your quarters have been adapted for human physiology." Vela continued, leading her down a curving pathway. "We studied your biological requirements extensively." They passed other Arconians who nodded respectfully. Some reached out with a third or fourth hand to touch Olivia's shoulder, a greeting gesture she had been briefed about. She returned the gesture, awkwardly conscious of having only 2 arms. Her quarters were a small grove of trees forming a natural room. The walls were living wood that seemed to breathe. The bed was a shallow depression filled with something like moss, but firmer. A small stream of clear water ran along one edge of the room, disappearing into the wall. The environment responds to your needs, Vela explained. Think of warmer if you feel cold, of softer if the bed is too firm. The ship understands. The ship is alive, Olivia asked. In a way, the Nexus is a symbiotic organism, part technology, part biology. We grow our vessels rather than build them. They are partners, not tools. Olivia tried to process this. It contradicted everything humans understood about spacecraft. Rest. Now, Vela said, tomorrow you will meet the council. Alone in her quarters, Olivia sat on the edge of the living bed. Her mind racing. Earth had expected the Arconians to be advanced, but this level of biotechnology was beyond anything scientists had theorized. She wondered what else she would discover during her year aboard the Nexus. She thought of her family back on Earth. Her mother had cried at the departure ceremony. Her father had stood stoic and proud. Her sister had made her promise to take notes on everything, especially the food. The thought made her stomach rumble. She hadn't eaten since before the shuttle docking. I'm hungry, she said aloud, wondering if the ship really could understand. A section of the wall shifted. A small alcove appeared containing what looked like fruits in various colors. Olivia approached cautiously. These are safe for human consumption. The ship spoke. Its voice was neither male nor female, but a harmonious blend of tones. They have been synthesized, based on Earth fruits but with enhanced nutritional value. Olivia picked up a blue object that resembled an apple. She sniffed it. The scent was appealing, like blueberries and honey. She took a small bite. The flavor exploded on her tongue. Sweet and complex. This is amazing, she said. Your pleasure is noted. The synthesis will be refined based on your response. Olivia ate slowly, savoring the alien fruit and contemplating her situation. She was light years from Earth, living inside a semi-sentient spaceship about to represent humanity to an advanced alien civilization. Just 5 years ago, humans had been alone in the universe. Then the Arconian signal had reached Earth, mathematical sequences proving their intelligence, cultural information, encoded in radio waves. Over time, communication had been established. Then came the invitation. Sleep came surprisingly easy. The living bed adjusted perfectly to her body. The lights dimmed automatically. The soft sounds of the ship, like distant wind, through leaves, lulled her into dreams. Morning arrived with a gentle increase in illumination. Vela arrived as Olivia finished eating breakfast. The council awaits, she said. Olivia followed her guide through winding corridors that seemed to grow wider as they walked. Eventually, they entered a vast chamber. The ceiling soared hundreds of feet overhead, mimicking a sky complete with clouds and distant stars. The floor was a meadow of short blue grass. In the center stood 7 Arconians taller than Vela, their skin patterns more complex, their eyes showing the milky film of extreme age. The 7, Vela whispered, our eldest, the wisest. Olivia approached and bowed as she had been instructed. The 7 moved in perfect unison, forming a circle around her human ambassador. They spoke in chorus, their voices harmonizing. You join us at a critical time. Olivia kept her voice steady. I'm honored to be here. The people of Earth look forward to peaceful relations with the Arconian collective. Peace is our way, they responded, but not all species share this value. We have brought you here not only for diplomacy, but for warning. This wasn't in her briefing. Olivia tensed. Warning about what? The galaxy is populous. Many civilizations exist. Some ancient, some young like yours, some benevolent, some not. One of the 7 stepped forward, its skin rippling with patterns of light. 3 rotations ago, we detected an anomaly, a shift in the void between stars. Something approaches something that should not be. Olivia frowned. I don't understand. Vela translated. They speak of the Void Walkers, a species believed to be mythical until recently. They exist partly in our dimension, partly in another. They consume energy, life energy. And they're coming here to this ship. No. The 7 spoke again. They move toward Earth. Olivia felt cold. Why Earth? There are countless planets. Your world shines brightly in the darkness. Your species burns with potential. Your minds emit patterns that draw them like insects to flame. How long until they reach Earth? Time flows differently for them. Perhaps 1 Earth year, perhaps less. Then I need to warn my people. Send me back. The 7 moved again, reforming their circle. Distance is no obstacle. Communication is possible, but warning is not enough. Your people must prepare. Prepare how? What defense do we have against something that lives between dimensions? We will teach you. They said, this is why you were chosen. Olivia Chen. Your mind is capable of understanding. This is why we requested a scientist, not a politician. Olivia realized suddenly that her selection hadn't been random. The Arconians had been monitoring Earth communications. They had chosen her specifically. You've been watching us. All spacefaring civilizations are observed. It is our responsibility as elder race. Vela touched Olivia's shoulder. The 7 will share knowledge with you, knowledge of the void and those who dwell within it. Knowledge your people need. Will it be enough? Olivia asked. Earth has no technology that could possibly. Technology alone is insufficient. The 7 interrupted. The void. Walkers exist beyond physical laws, but your species has something rare, something few possess. What? Adaptability, creativity. The ability to conceive what has never been. Your minds can imagine the impossible. This is your strength. One of the 7 approached Olivia. It raised a hand to her forehead. With your permission, we will share visions, understanding that cannot be conveyed in words. Olivia hesitated, then nodded. If it will help Earth, I consent. The touch was gentle, but the effect immediate images flooded her mind. Vast beings of shadow and light moving between stars, worlds going dark as their energy was consumed, ancient battles fought with weapons of thought and will. The Arconians standing against the darkness, creating barriers of conscious energy. When the visions ended, Olivia gasped, struggling to process what she had seen. Now you understand. The 7 said, the nature of the threat, the reason for urgency. Yes. Olivia whispered, but I don't see how humans can fight something like that. We're too primitive, too limited. You see with eyes not yet opened. They responded, your species stands at a threshold between what you are and what you might become. The Void Walkers sense this. They feed on potential, on possibility. They would consume your future. What do? We will teach you to awaken what sleeps within. Many of your people possess latent abilities, untapped potential minds that can perceive beyond the physical. Olivia thought of ESP research, meditation studies, consciousness, exploration, all fringe science on Earth. You mean psychic abilities? Humans have always theorized, but never proven, because you search wrongly, measure incorrectly. The power exists, the void. Walkers know this, they fear what humanity might become. Over the following months, Olivia underwent intensive training. The 7 and other Arconian teachers showed her how to perceive the energy fields that permeated all living things, how to extend consciousness beyond her physical form, how to recognize the subtle distortions that indicated void breaches. At the same time, she sent detailed reports back to Earth. Initially met with skepticism, her warnings gained credibility as Arconian data confirmed unusual phenomena in the outer solar system, distortions in space-time, energy fluctuations that defied explanation. 6 months into her stay, Olivia could demonstrate abilities that would have been called miraculous on Earth. She could sense the thoughts of others, see energy patterns with closed eyes, move small objects with concentrated will. You progress quickly, Vela told her. Faster than expected. Will it be enough? Olivia asked, the question that haunted her daily. The laboratory was silent except for the soft hum of machines. Amy adjusted her microscope, focusing on the strange material that had arrived that morning. It was unlike anything she had seen before. The sample glowed with a faint purple light, even without external illumination. Its cellular structure, if you could call it that, kept shifting, changing as she watched. Amy had been working at the research facility for 5 years, analyzing extraterrestrial samples. This was her first time handling material from the new alien species, the Vex. They had made contact with Earth 3 months ago, establishing diplomatic relations and offering scientific exchange. The sample was supposedly skin tissue, but it behaved more like a liquid crystal, constantly reorganizing itself. She made notes recording her observations. The government wanted to know everything about Vex biology, their weaknesses, their strengths, whether they posed a threat. A soft chime indicated someone entering the lab. Amy looked up to see her colleague Ben carrying coffee. "Any progress?" he asked, setting a cup beside her. "Not really. It keeps changing. Every time I think I understand the structure, it shifts. Something is controlling these changes, but I can't figure out what." Ben peered at her monitor. "Weird. Maybe it's responding to observation quantum effects or something." Amy shook her head. "This isn't quantum scale. This is visible, cellular reorganization. It's almost like..." "Like what?" "Like it knows we're watching." Ben laughed. "Paranoid much, it's just tissue. Maybe." Amy wasn't convinced. Something about this sample felt wrong, almost intentional. She took a sip of coffee and continued her work. Later that evening, as the facility quieted for the night, Amy remained. At her station, the sample had finally stabilized into a lattice structure. She quickly recorded the pattern before it could change again. As she worked, she felt a strange sensation, like being watched. She looked around. The lab was empty. Everyone else had gone home, but the feeling persisted. The lights flickered briefly. Amy frowned. Power fluctuations were rare in the facility. She saved her work and continued. The sample began to glow brighter. The purple light intensified, pulsing slowly. Amy adjusted her instruments to record the change. The pulsing quickened, matching rhythm with her heartbeat. Amy stepped back, suddenly uneasy. This wasn't normal behavior for tissue, even alien tissue. She decided to lock the sample away for the night. She reached for the containment case. The sample liquefied, instantly flowing across the slide. Before she could react, it dropped to the floor, moving like mercury across the tiles toward her. Amy scrambled onto her chair. "Security," she called, activating the lab's emergency system. "Containment breach Lab 4. The sample stopped moving. It pooled on the floor, then began to rise, forming a column that became a rough approximation of a human shape. Amy stared in shock as the purple substance shaped itself into a humanoid form, not detailed but recognizable. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. No features, just a smooth surface where a face would be. "What are you?" she whispered. The figure tilted its head. The surface rippled. Then words formed on the featureless face, written in English, "Observer." Amy couldn't believe what she was seeing. The sample wasn't tissue. It was an entity. A being. "You're alive," she said. "Conscious." The words on its face changed. "Yes, always. Why are you here? How did you get here?" "Sent. To learn." The security alarm blared in the distance. Amy knew guards would arrive soon. What would they do to this creature? Fire at it? Capture it? The being seemed to sense her thoughts, danger coming. "Yes," Amy admitted. "They might hurt you, they don't know what you are. You protect." It wasn't a question, but Amy nodded anyway. "I'll try. What should I do?" The being moved closer. Its surface rippling. "Merge temporary share." Amy backed away. "Merge, what does that mean?" "Join minds, share knowledge." "No, harm." The security team would arrive any minute. Amy had seconds to decide. She thought of the government officials who had ordered the research. Their questions about weaknesses, about weapons. "Will you hurt humans?" The being's surface formed new words. "No study, only peaceful." Amy made her decision. She stepped forward and reached out her hand. The being extended what passed for an arm. The purple substance touched her skin. The world exploded into color and sensation. Amy gasped as information flooded. Her mind, images of a world with 3 suns, vast cities made of living crystal beings of energy and matter, combined communicating through thought and light. A peaceful civilization, millions of years old. Curious about the young species called humans, being was showing her its home, its people, its purpose. Then as quickly as it began, the connection broke. The being withdrew, just as the lab door burst open. Guards rushed in, weapons raised. "Dr. Harper, are you all right?" the lead guard asked. Scanning the room, Amy stood between them and the purple being. "I'm fine. There's been a misunderstanding. This isn't a tissue sample, it's an ambassador." The guards looked confused. The being had reformed into a more detailed humanoid shape. Its face now had suggestions of eyes and a mouth. Amy explained quickly, "The Vex sent this being to learn about us. It can communicate. It's peaceful." The head of security arrived moments later, followed by the facility director, Dr. Keller. After Amy explained the situation, they moved everyone to the conference room, the purple being followed floating slightly above the ground. "You're saying the aliens sent a spy?" Dr. Keller said, his voice hard. "They infiltrated our research facility under false pretenses." "Not a spy," Amy corrected. "An observer. They wanted to understand us. They didn't trust our representatives to show them the truth about humanity." The being's surface rippled, forming words. "Truth important, see with own perception." Dr. Keller frowned. "Why didn't they just ask to send an observer? We would have accommodated them. Would you?" Amy challenged. "Would you have let them see everything, our weapons research, our military capabilities, our plans for defense against possible alien threats?" The director didn't answer. The being formed new words. "No deception. Diplomatic exchange includes observers. This known." "Known by whom?" the security chief demanded. "Your leaders." The room fell silent. Amy looked at Dr. Keller, whose face had gone pale. "Is that true?" She asked, "Did our government know?" "I am not at liberty to discuss classified diplomatic protocols," he said stiffly. "But I will say that certain arrangements were made at the highest levels." Amy understood then. The government had agreed to exchange observers, but hadn't informed the scientists they wanted unfiltered research before revealing the truth. "So what happens now?" she asked. The being's surface rippled. "Mission complete. Return home. Share knowledge." "And what knowledge will you share?" Dr. Keller asked. "What have you learned about us?" Curious, divided, fearful, yet capable of understanding individual humans show promise. Species future uncertain. Amy wasn't sure if that was a compliment or a warning. The being turned to her. "You showed truth protected without knowing, rare quality." "What happens to the other observers?" Amy asked suddenly. "You can't be the only one. Many observers. Many facilities. All revealed today." Dr. Keller's phone rang. He answered it, his face growing more concerned. With each moment, "I understand, yes sir, right away." He hung up. That was the Secretary of Defense. "Similar revelations are happening at research facilities worldwide. The Vex are recalling their observers. They've completed their assessment of Earth." "Assessment? For what?" the security chief asked. No one had an answer. That night Amy stood on the facility roof watching the sky. The purple being hovered beside her, its form now fully humanoid and detailed. It had asked to see the stars before departing. "Will you come back?" she asked. "Yes. Future exchange, human observers visit our world." "You perhaps..." Amy felt a thrill at the thought. "I'd like that. Connection remains," the being said. "Mind link temporary but impression permanent. I know you. You know me." It was true. Since their brief mental connection, Amy had found herself understanding things she shouldn't know. Words from an alien language, memories of crystal cities, images of strange planets. "What should I call you?" she asked, realizing she had never asked its name. The being's surface rippled, forming complex patterns that shifted and changed, then settled into a simple design, a spiral with 7 branches. "This is my designation. In your sounds, approximated as sailor. Sailor, Amy repeated. I'm honored to meet you properly. The being looked upward. Time comes, ship approaches. Amy saw nothing but trusted the being's senses. What will happen to Earth now that your people have studied us? Decision comes, trade diplomacy, knowledge exchange. If humans, ready. Are we ready? Unknown. Some yes, some no. Your kind divided, purpose unclear. We're young, Amy said. We're still figuring things out. Yes, young potential direction, uncertain, violence, possible, peace, possible, both paths open. A light appeared, in the sky growing brighter, a ship descending silently, its hull shimmering with the same purple glow as the being. Others come, Sealer said. All observers return. Around the world, Amy knew other beings like Sealer were being recalled. Their missions, complete their assessments filed. Will your people judge us harshly, she asked. Not judge, evaluate, determine readiness. The ship hovered above them now. A beam of light extended downward. Farewell, Amy Harper. Remember what? Stars home too. Many no species alone universe shared all connected. Sailor moved into the beam of light, its form beginning to dissolve, returning to its pure energy state. As it faded, Amy heard a final message in her mind. Not in words, but in pure thought, a promise. Of return, a hope for the future, and an invitation. The spaceship landed in a field behind Megan's house on a quiet Tuesday afternoon. Nobody else saw it happen. She was hanging laundry in the backyard when the air rippled and the grass bent under an invisible weight. Then suddenly, a silver craft appeared. It was small, about the size of a car, and shaped like a teardrop. Megan dropped the wet shirt she was holding. Her heart raced, but she didn't run. This was the most exciting thing that had ever happened in her small town. A section of the ship's side melted away, forming a doorway. A figure stepped out. It was tall and slender, with 4 arms and skin that shimmered like mother of pearl. Its head was slightly too large for its body, with huge almond-shaped eyes that blinked. Sideways, Megan stayed, very still. The alien looked around, then fixed its gaze on her. It raised one hand in what seemed like a greeting. Hello, Megan said. Her voice shook a little. Welcome to Earth, I guess. The alien tilted its head. Then it spoke. Its voice was musical, almost like singing. Thank you for your welcome, human. I am Alara from the star system you call Andromeda. You speak English. Megan was surprised. I learned from your broadcasts. Alara explained. Your languages are simple compared to mine. Megan wasn't sure if she should be offended by that. Why are you here in my backyard specifically? It was not intentional. My navigation system malfunctioned. I need to make repairs before continuing my journey. Where are you going? To your world's leaders. I am an ambassador. My people wish to establish formal contact with humans, Megan laughed. And you crashed in my yard. That's not going to impress anyone. The alien made a sound like wind chimes. Perhaps not. But now I require assistance. My ship needs a mineral found in your soil to repair itself. What kind of mineral? You call it iron. It is common here, Megan thought for a moment. I have some old tools in the shed. Would that work? Yes, that would be suitable. Megan went to the shed and found a rusty hammer and some nails. She returned and held them out. The alien took them with one of its 4 hands. The metal seemed to melt into its skin. Thank you. This will help. Alara turned to the ship and placed a hand on its side. The metal of the ship rippled. How long will the repairs take? Megan asked. 1 rotation of your planet. A day. You're staying here for a day. Yes. Is that acceptable? Megan thought about it. Her parents were away visiting her grandmother. She had the house to herself. For the week, no one would know if she helped an alien. I guess so. But you should come inside. People might see you out here. The alien followed her into the house, moving with strange grace. Its feet made no sound on the floor. It looked around with obvious curiosity. You live alone? It asked. No, my parents are just away for a few days. Interesting. Your young are left unsupervised. I will include this in my report. I'm not that young. I'm 17, Megan said, almost an adult. On my world childhood, last 50 of your years, how old are you? By your counting, 112. Megan stared. You're ancient. I am considered quite young. The alien examined a photo on the wall. These are your family unit. Yes, my mom and dad, and my little brother Sam. Your genetic similarity is evident. Ilara turned to Megan. Why do you not fear me? Most species react with terror to first contact. Megan shrugged. I guess I've watched too many sci-fi movies. If you wanted to hurt me, you would have done it already. Logical reasoning. Perhaps humans are more advanced than our studies suggested. Don't get too excited. I'm probably not the best example of humanity. The alien's eyes blinked. You are modest. This is a positive trait. As evening approached, Megan ordered pizza. The delivery boy didn't notice the alien standing in the dark corner of the living room. After he left, Ilara examined the food with interest. You consume this substance. It's delicious. Want to try? My biology is different, but I can analyze it. The alien touched the pizza and closed its eyes. Interesting, a combination of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats with minimal nutritional efficiency. Yet it provides pleasure. That's basically junk food in a nutshell. Megan laughed later. They sat in the living room. Megan showed Ilara television programs explaining human concepts that confused the alien. Why do humans in this program pretend to feel romantic attraction? Ilara asked during a soap opera. They're actors. It's not real. You create false scenarios for entertainment. This is unusual. Don't you have art or stories on your world? We have historical records and technical instruction, but creating falsehoods is not practiced. That sounds boring. Perhaps we value accuracy. Megan yawned. I need to sleep soon. Do you sleep? I enter a restoration cycle once per week. Your daily unconsciousness is inefficient. Thanks for the critique of human biology. Megan rolled her eyes. You can stay in the guest room in the middle of the night. Megan woke to strange sounds. She found Ilara in the kitchen surrounded by dismantled appliances. The toaster, microwave, and blender were in pieces. What are you doing? She gasped. Borrowing components. My ship requires additional materials for repair. You can't just take apart my parents' stuff. The alien looked confused. I will reassemble them. That's not the point. You should have asked. I apologize. This is a cultural misunderstanding. On my world, possessions are communal. Megan sighed. Just make sure everything works again before you leave. The alien nodded. I will comply. In the morning, Megan found the kitchen appliances reassembled and working better than before. The toaster now had settings for different types of bread. The microwave could detect exactly when food was properly heated. I made improvements, Ilara explained, as compensation. Thanks, I guess. Megan made breakfast and offered some to the alien, who politely declined. My ship will be repaired soon. Ilara said, I must contact my people. How will you do that? I require height, a tall structure. Megan thought for a moment. There's a water tower on the edge of town. It's the highest point around. They waited until dark, then walked through fields to reach the water tower. Ilara climbed it with surprising speed, using all four arms. Megan followed more slowly. At the top, they could see the whole town spread out below, lights twinkling in the darkness. Ilara raised its arms and began to emit a soft humming sound. The air around them seemed to vibrate. After several minutes, the alien lowered its arms. Message sent, they will arrive tomorrow. They who will arrive. The diplomatic vessel. It carries representatives from our High Council. They will meet with your world leaders. Shouldn't you warn someone like the government? It is arranged. They are expecting contact, though not precisely here. The coordinates have been adjusted. As they climbed down, Megan felt strange. This alien had crashed into her. Life by accident, and tomorrow everything would change. Will I see you again after tomorrow? She asked. Unknown. Your authorities will likely quarantine me for study. That sounds terrible. It is protocol. I expected this. When they returned to the house, Ilara went to check on its ship. Megan sat on her back steps looking at the stars, wondering which one was Ilara's home. The alien returned. "The repairs are complete. I thank you for your assistance, Megan." "You're welcome. I'm glad I could help." "You have been kind. Most species would not assist an unknown visitor. Most humans probably wouldn't either. I'm a bit weird." "Your difference is valuable," Ilara said. "It allows for adaptation and progress." They stood in silence for a moment. Then Ilara reached into a fold in its clothing and removed a small crystal. It glowed with soft blue light. "A gift. To remember our encounter." Megan took it carefully. "It's beautiful." "What is it?" "A memory crystal. It contains images of my homeworld. You may view them by holding it to light." "Thank you. I must prepare for tomorrow. The arrival will cause some disturbance. You should warn your neighbors." Megan nodded, wondering how she would explain any of this. "Ilara, what will happen when your people meet ours?" "Change. Always change. First contact reshapes civilizations. It cannot be undone. Is that good or bad? It simply is, like a star forming or a planet turning. Both our peoples will be different after tomorrow. Some will embrace it, some will resist. But the universe grows smaller regardless." Megan looked at the crystal in her palm. "Will your people be kind to us?" "We will be fair. That is our way." As Megan went to bed that night, she knew her world would never be the same. She had been the first to welcome an alien visitor. The first human to befriend someone from another star. The first to know that tomorrow everything would change.